Today, we're diving into the invisible, silent, but unbelievably powerful chemical network that's basically running your body, the endocrine system. I mean, this thing is the master controller, working behind the scenes every single second of every day.
So let me just ask you this. What's really pulling the strings? What decides how you feel when you wake up, how you deal with stress, or even how tall you get? Well, the answer is hiding in this amazing system of chemical messengers. Okay, let's get into it.
So your body's got two main control systems. Think of your nervous system kind of like an email. It zaps a direct, super fast message to one specific place for a quick but pretty brief action. The endocrine system, though, that's more like a radio broadcast. It sends its messages out all over the place, through your bloodstream. Yeah, it's a little slower to get started, but its effects are huge and can last for hours, days, even years.
To really wrap our heads around this, we need to meet the key players. So let's start our tour of this incredible chemical network.
First up, the star of the show, the hormone. I mean, the definition right here tells you just how powerful these things are. First, they're non-nutrient, meaning they aren't fuel, they're pure instructions. Second, they're intercellular messengers, carrying those instructions from one cell to another. And what's really wild is that they're made in trace amounts. Just a tiny, tiny bit can set off massive changes all over your body.
And as you can see right here, the endocrine system isn't just in one spot. Nope. It's a whole collection of glands scattered all throughout your body. This is basically our roadmap for today. We're going to take a tour of these key spots, and we're starting right at the top, in the brain.
All right, our journey begins in the brain. This is headquarters, This is where all the highest level decisions get made for the entire system.
So, deep inside your brain, you've got this power duo, the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. These two work together like a master command and control center. The hypothalamus figures out what the body needs and then gives the orders to the pituitary, which then sends out the signals to all the other glands.
A really easy way to think about it is like this. The hypothalamus is the CEO of your body's company. It's watching everything, making the big strategic calls, and deciding what needs to happen to keep the whole operation running just right.
And if we stick with that analogy, the pituitary gland is the general manager. It gets those high-level orders from the CEO, the hypothalamus, and turns them into specific instructions for all the different departments, which are, you guessed it, the other endocrine glands all over your body.
And believe me, the pituitary's influence is absolutely massive. It pumps out growth hormone, which literally dictates how your body grows. It sends out messenger hormones like TSH to wake up the thyroid and ACTH to get the adrenal glands going. It manages the whole reproductive system with gonadotropins and even handles huge things like childbirth with oxytocin and your body's water levels with ADH. It is a very, very busy general manager. Okay, let's head to our next stop. We're traveling down from the brain into the neck. This is where we find the glands that control your body's entire energy budget and keep your internal world in balance.
Meet the thyroid gland. This is basically your body's engine, or maybe it's thermostat. It makes hormones that set your basal metabolic rate, which is just a fancy way of saying how fast you burn energy when you're just sitting around. Now, here's the crucial part. It needs iodine to make these hormones. If you don't get enough, the thyroid can actually swell up trying to do its job, and that's a condition called goiter.
Now, tucked right behind the thyroid are 4 tiny little parathyroid glands, and together they're in a constant, delicate dance to balance the calcium in your blood. Parathyroid hormone, or PTH, raises your blood calcium when it gets too low. It's like a manager pulling calcium out of the bone warehouse. And on the other side, a hormone from the thyroid called calcitonin lowers blood calcium when it's too high. They work in perfect opposition, this constant push and pull, to keep your calcium levels just right.
Continuing our tour, we now get to the glands that handle how we respond to danger, how we control our main fuel source, sugar, and what guides our development.
Sitting right on top of your kidneys are the adrenal glands, and you've definitely heard of what they do. They're the body's alarm system, triggering that famous fight or flight response.
So when your brain senses a threat, it hits the panic button and sends an emergency alert straight to the adrenal glands. They instantly dump adrenaline and cortisol into your bloodstream. And that's what makes your heart pound, your breathing get faster, and your liver pump out sugar for a quick burst of energy. It's this ancient survival mode, getting you ready for immediate, intense action.
Next up, the pancreas. And this thing acts like your body's blood sugar thermostat. After you eat something, beta cells release insulin, which I call the storage hormone.
It tells your body's cells, hey, open up and absorb this sugar from the blood. But when your blood sugar gets too low, alpha cells release glucagon, the release hormone, which tells your liver time to release that sugar we stored earlier. It's another one of those perfect hormonal balancing acts.
And finally, for this section, we've got the gonads, the testes in males and the ovaries in females. The testes make androgens like testosterone, which drives male development and sperm production. And the ovaries produce estrogen and progesterone, which run the show for the menstrual cycle, female development, and supporting a pregnancy.
So we've seen on our little tour how all these different glands and hormones are constantly talking to each other, constantly adjusting. But what's the end game here? What's the ultimate goal of all this complicated stuff?
Well, the goal is a state called homeostasis. This is the big idea, the main takeaway. Your body is always working to keep a stable, constant internal environment. Not too hot, not too cold, not too much sugar, not too little. Every single hormone signal we've talked about is just part of this never-ending effort to keep everything in perfect balance. Now, this chart looks pretty complex, I know, but it shows you exactly why that balance is so important. You don't have to read every single box. Just look at how one little hormone problem can branch out and cause all these different issues. We've already talked about a couple of these, right? Not enough iodine can lead to goiter, and problems with insulin can lead to diabetes. It just goes to show you how connected this whole network is. One broken link can really affect the whole system.
So, as we wrap things up, I just want to leave you with this thought. From your energy levels this morning, to how you reacted to a stressful email, how much of your daily life, of who you are, is being quietly steered by these invisible chemical messengers? It's pretty amazing to think about. This silent, powerful network is a huge part of what makes you, well, you.